Hello, welcome to La Casa. Take a seat.
And feel like home.
Hola.
Hola.
Again, it's us.
It's us. And this time, Vica's a bit sick.
I'm a bit sick, yeah. If you hear my voice being a bit weird, please spare me this one. Hopefully I won't get sick. I feel like every time I go out, I get sick.
No, this weekend is my birthday, guys. On Saturday.
I won't get sick.
On Thursday, all my friends, not all my
Even
friends.
if I'm sick and think I'm just gonna have to do
Work
some
through
magic,
it.
yeah, and power through it. But I think it's gonna be fine. I don't feel too bad. I think I'm just tired. But every time I go out, I get a little bit sick. I don't know if my body's telling me like you shouldn't do this. It's bad for you to sleep so late and do things.
But
when you're out.
To be fair, I mean, you're working a 9 to 5, which brings us to the topic of today.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about work.
Work, because also I had kind of this idea because Hannah had a bit of a stress situation at work, but I think it was at the same time that I was doing like a mandatory course. It's one of those awful courses that you have to do for whatever reason at big companies or whatever, where it was talking about the generational differences. So it was explaining a little bit about like the boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers and stuff.
Like the thing of like Gen Z people don't want to work anymore.
More in the sense of allegedly, according to the course, Gen Zers have been born into technology, so they're like more future forward. I don't know how to say it. Like they don't have like the same values as boomers because it's like they value other things, other types of work ethic. And I was thinking about, yeah, of course, because it's obviously very different for you. Like you working in your 20s versus working like maybe at your 50s. I don't know. I haven't been 50 yet, so I can't tell you for sure. But obviously, we do know that how we work now, or like the society that we're living in right now, where we are working, like we are in the working force, it has nothing to do with how our parents used to work and things like that. So I was like, of course we get a lot of like, I don't know, like maybe dilemmas, or maybe you get like very confused also, like when you're in your 20s, knowing where exactly is it that you're really valuing. I think it's hard, especially when you like move to a new country and you need to learn a lot of things about their country, including their work ethics. Pretty much.
I think so. And I think also you saying that about the worth ethics being so different between different generations. I think it's also hard because basically we're still confronted with the other generations.
Yeah.
Our parents, our grandparents, our parents are going to tell us, you can't do this, like you have to do this. I've heard so much bullshit about the CV. My God. Like literally,
yeah.
I'm dying. My aunt, I'm not like close with them, but like she told me something like, if you work in hospitality, no one will employ you, for real. And I've worked in like a bookshop. During my studies, I worked in a bookshop. I did other shit. And then I went and worked in hospitality. And to be honest, my boss now, she employed me because she saw that I worked in hospitality. Because she also worked in hospitality. Because if you do, you know how to...
You have enough trauma to learn about
you know how to
things.
deal with stress. You know how to deal with customers. You don't know how to deal with like being in a bad mood, but still having to be on your best behavior in a way.
Yeah.
Those are things that, and also like working hard, working long hours. Those are things that like shape you in a good way, in my opinion. But still, people from like other generations tell you that
because
it's
I
bad.
think your aunt, like it was what she was saying was true at her time.
Could be.
Which is like, we know that most of the times people, like older generations, I mean, I have had to do a lot of work in therapy to be able to reach to this like peace of mind, let's say. Then most of the time, even though it sounds like they're complaining or they're like shit talking about you to your face, they actually mean it like in a I'm trying to help you kind of way, you know?
Yeah.
With awful skills, like no empathy whatsoever, but still it comes from a place of worry, like no, you cannot do this. Like I tried to and it was awful for me back then or whatever. I will say something about hospitality though. working in hospitality completely broke me for real. After working in hospitality, I was working at that Burger King.
Bro, but Burger King hospitality is a different shit. Like, that's
I know.
crazy.
You were in a bar.
Yeah, I worked in a cafe, which was like a student cafe. So it was like a coffee shop, you know? And that was nice because all people, you're going to meet one of my former bosses, two of my former bosses.
That's
actually.
crazy.
They're two of my best friends.
That's so funny.
And we worked together. So basically just young people. And then I was a bartender and service.
Bartender suits you so much, actually.
Thank you, baby.
No, but I think my dream has always been like my dream. Bear with me, okay? When I first got into Spain, I was like, okay, I'm young and I can work on things. When I was in Venezuela, I worked for a year, a little bit more than a year, I think, being an English teacher. And I like that, but it was like kind of annoying also. I don't know, like it was a hard time basically, just because, well, for me, when I was a teenager, like 18, I was not necessarily the laziest, but for me it's like spending all my day speaking and trying to get kids to behave. It's not my definition of, oh, this is my passion, you know? It was a very easy job and I really enjoyed it, but it was not like, oh, I would die if they would fire me. But I kind of imagined myself when I moved to Spain, like maybe I can work at a little cute cafe place, whatever. Never happened. I worked in Burger King and that fucking broke my soul for
Bro, Burger King is insane. That must be bad.
I was like, what, 19 or 20, and I was working there for like a year and a half as well.
A year and a half,
bro.
My
After
God.
that, I became like anarchist for real. I was like, I'm anti-work. I fuck the big companies, fuck labor, fuck everything. Like we should all try to find a way for us to like maintain ourselves. How do you say that?
Yeah, sustain us.
Yeah, like
ourselves.
self-sustain and not having to work, and you just like work on your own farm and whatever, and fuck those.
But to be honest, like I think we underestimate a lot, because that's also something that those are like the work morals that loads of people from like the older generations bring to the table.
Yeah.
You have to stick with the shit. Yeah, you have to do it even though it's like breaking you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's bullshit, because
I mean, for me it was kind of like, since I was not living in Madrid by that time, I was living in Pamplona, which is a way smaller city than Madrid. It was harder to find a job.
No, I get it.
Like most jobs that they would have me, they were like very far away from my house, and I didn't have like a way to get there, because it was like mostly places where you could get there in like public transport, but it would probably take like an hour, but not like a metro, like a subway, Madrid subway hour, which you know you're gonna get there because everything has like its little subway station. It's like maybe a bus will show up and maybe it's gonna leave you, you know?
I get it.
So it was kind of hard, and I had to do it because I needed the money. Like I needed to survive, but it was shit.
Yeah, I think though that's like it's kind of cruel. I'm also like, I have to say this, I am talking out of like a position of being very privileged, and I had the freedom. I mean, I've worked a shit ton of jobs.
Yeah.
But for example, when I was in Sydney, also I went from place to place to find something, and I got rejected so many times, which is also does something to you, but it's also good, I feel like, because the job market is hard. It doesn't matter the fucking where you're looking for. For example, my CV in hospitality is fucking good.
Yeah.
Because I worked like not only as a bartender, but I was also like shift leader and stuff. So
Okay.
I was in a higher position. I've worked loads of years.
She's an Aries, you guys.
Yeah, bro. Ask
real.
my friend on Saturday. She's my best friend. She was my manager.
You got shit done.
I can tell you that we worked so good together, but we were also, sometimes we had like moments where we wanted to kill each other.
Yeah.
Because she's a Virgo double Sagittarius. I'm an Aries double Sagittarius.
That's a crazy combination. Yeah, no, I totally get that. For me, I was taught, the value of hard work And I would have to say that with hospitality, I learned that it doesn't really matter if you break your ass working sometimes. And for some companies, that really doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's always like this. Like, I'm sure in the places that you worked.
Also, you can't compare hospitality work in Germany to hospitality work in
for
Spain.
sure.
In Germany, you get tips, like really good tips. Like, people, you work, let's say, one of my colleagues, he worked 120 hours. He got like 700, 800 euros of tips every month.
That's crazy.
And tips,
that would keep me so motivated.
Them, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Second thing is you have to work harder, but also you have more structure, which for me is essential because I can't do it. Like, I cannot have my colleagues not do shit and I don't know, hell is breaking loose. You know, so that's not working for me.
Yeah.
And also, you don't have to like clean toilets and shit like that. You don't do that in Germany.
Okay. That sounds a bit nicer. It is true that when I came to Spain, I think this is also true in like any country, to be fair, where it's like when you have to find a job, you realize how much of the working environment is by connections. Like, I remember that I struggle a lot to get like the job in Burger King, O sea, ojo, cuidado con la vaina.
Yeah.
I struggled to get that in the sense of there weren't like many vacants open, and like it's not like they weren't like I was not a good fit for Burger King or for whatever fucking food chain for that matter, but for like I wanted to work like at a Zara, you know, like I didn't want to fucking flip burgers for real. But yeah, it was like if I knew someone here who kind of had like a job or whatever, they could probably pitch me in. And it would be so much easier. If I were back in Venezuela, I would probably have many different jobs because I would know someone that knows someone that knows their, you know, and that was kind of hard when I first like tried to start working here, especially also when I moved to Madrid, because it's like I feel like I'm tackling a big monster that I don't know anything about because I have no one around me that can be like, it's okay, I can help you, I know about this place, or I know I have a friend like has this store, maybe I can ask them, you know. It was kind of hard.
That's like what I meant also in Sydney, but I also had it here. You have to have the guts for it and also the savings for it to be like, I am going to every single place that I feel like I have the skills for. I went to every single bookshop in this fucking town. Not every single one, but to so many. And I got rejected everywhere. Because
that's so sad. Also, I would have loved to work at a bookshop.
I did before. That's why I have it on my CV. But the thing is, I don't speak good enough Spanish. And even in I'm going to throw shade on that bookshop. There's like one German bookshop and the lady there...
¿Dónde?
Like, I don't know, in the north.
Okay.
And the lady there, she was like so German. And I was like, me cago en todo. No puedo. She's like, but do you speak Spanish? And I was like, babe, I'm learning. Like, I speak, but I'm learning. But also, those are German books. Like, of course, you need to understand the needs of the customer and like explain yourself like a little bit. But I was like, oh man. And I had so many things like this.
Yeah, obviously way harder when you don't even like speak the language.
And
100%.
Also, I also went to so many like clothing stores or whatever.
Right.
Got rejected everywhere. So
imagine I got rejected at Primark. Así estaba la vaina. Así estaba la vaina. I was like, this is why half of the population in Spain is in paro, because I'm not sure what the fuck is happening. Plus, I was like full of joy and like wonder and youth because I was freshly 18. So I thought like the world was my oyster, which it was, but in a different type of way. But then I got into Burger King and it was fucking crazy because it's like, I don't think that was a particularly hard job in the sense of the tasks that you have to do. Like, we have all played like some type of game where you have to give the customers their orders or whatever, you know, I don't know, Dinner Dash or whatever the name of the game is. And then I realized in that moment, that's when I knew that people are fucking stupid. The customers and the rest of the people who were working in that establishment. It's like, I cannot, like, are you fucking dumb or what the fuck is happening? And the worst part is actually the clients. I was really happy at the lockdown because you didn't need to
engage with the client.
Yeah, and that was the best part of the
Bro, in
yeah.
hospitality, you see a lot of shit. You see,
Oof,
like,
you see a lot of
you
shit.
see,
now.
like, people asking you for things where you're like, do you want me to kiss your ass as well? Or like,
I hated that.
Or literally, like, your colleagues doing the dumbest shit ever, and
Right, and it's like I'm surrounded by.
yeah, you tell them something, and they're like doing it in a way where you're literally like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah. It was crazy because since for me, I'm not saying like I don't think it's a flex to be good at working in Burger King. I think it was a very easy job, but we also had some other people who like physically could not do a lot of things. In the sense of mentally more than physically. It's like some people had issues like with the cash register. And my manager thought he had hit the jackpot because I got it pretty quickly. Like that was not hard for me. And at first I thought it was fun. And then he was like, haha, in his head, I know. That he was like, I'm gonna put a cute girl in the register and I'm sure people are gonna be happier to be like
to buy stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, after 6 months, I was like, you can never ever put me again in the cash register. Like, I will never touch that fucking machine again. And it's not because I hated it. It was because you get treated like in the most heinous way.
Crazy.
It's fucking insane.
I've heard it all, like smile more, blah 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 blah, everything.
Like for me, I don't know if they ever told me to smile more. I don't, because the thing is, I probably had a resume face, but I was 19.
Yo también.
I was 19. Like I think I look pretty young to be fair, but I heard like I used to wear sometimes like a braid because you cannot have your hair loose. Like a dad with his daughter. And he told me like that braid looks so good on you with your uniform. What the fuck, man? I was like, whatever. It was awful. Also treating with people that, for me, thankfully, I don't think I'm the type of person that takes it too hard when people like are mean, like when I don't know them, of course. Like if someone in the street starts yelling at me, I would probably find it funny. It's not like I'm gonna get offended or anything. So when I was working, sometimes I had the typical customer that just wanted to complain and wanted to make your day, like they wanted to ruin your day and like treat you really bad and like question like how stupid can you really be. And for me, it was so funny because it was like, this is so obviously not about me. Like literally, this is like you're getting this worked up because I put 2 ketchup bags or whatever. I don't know how you sachets, you know? How do you say that?
Ketchup bags?
Whatever. Eso. Instead of 100 as you wanted. I don't give a fuck. I would give you the whole box of ketchup. Like I literally don't give a fuck. But my manager is literally right there. Like you can complain, whatever. Like I really don't care. But they would actually be like, they would call me stupid. They would call me dumb. They would call me uneducated. It's like obviously they try to find the dumbest bitches to work in Burger King. Like for real. And for me it was this funny because it's like you're fucking buying at a Burger King, man. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like
yeah, for real.
Literally you're complaining about the worst type of food there is ever, and you're like you expected to have like some treatment of like a king. But then that was the moment where I knew that I did not share the view of like the customer is always right, and that also translates of like when things are just being unfair and like they're taking advantage of you, that would never be okay for me. Like
no.
The politeness that you have to have in your workspace, like your manager can be a bitch to you and you have to like shut the fuck up because they're one position above you.
No
That's
way.
so fucking lame. That's so lame.
No
I
way.
don't agree with that at all. So yeah, I didn't enjoy that part at all.
But now you work in here. And how did you get that job?
I think it was because I had a friend. It was like a little, yeah,
Good
literally,
friend.
like I like finished up what I was studying, and I think I had like a customer service type of job, like for 3 months or 4 months or something like that. I hated that job, but it was like half time because I was also doing like an apprenticeship or something, whatever. Yeah. So after I finished everything, one of my friends is like, hey, you know, my uncle has ¿cómo se dice? Correduría de seguro. Like, okay. My uncle has an insurance company, and he's like, it's an insurance company for animals. What I studied has to do with animals. So it's kind of like admin work, but it's also nice that you have like knowledge in animals. So he's looking for someone. Maybe I can like tell him to do the interview for you. I was like, great. So I was there for kind of like a year or something, and I got fired. No, it was great. For me, that's when I truly knew peace, for real. Because I hated that job. I was miserable. I didn't like the insurance thing. Like admin work, I was okay with it. But like the sales part, I hated that. I hate harassing people to make them believe that they need to buy something. I don't really care. For me, it feels like lying. It's just business. It's not lying per se, pero I just don't like it. Like to call people like cold calls and be like, hey, you need to buy whatever. So I really hated that. And also it was so far away. I had to be like on public transport for like an hour and a half to get there.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, but I was like, whatever. I need to put this on my CV. And then they fired me because I was actually just covering for someone that was on a maternity leave, so
they came back and then,
it was kind of like meant to be, whatever. And I didn't love that job, and they knew that I didn't love that job. Therefore, it's not like I was giving my 100% because it's like I fucking hate this. And I got fired, and I remember when I got fired, I was thinking like, oh my God, they were cruel in the sense of they fired me like just after Easter. So it's like I could have gotten the whole Easter week, and they fired me like just after, which is like, you guys are really something. And I remember that I got up the office after working the whole day, O sea, me despidieron. They fired me at the end of the day, which was like, fuck you, literally. You made me come all the way here.
And work, and of course.
So whatever. So I remember I got out and I was crying because it was the first time that someone fired me because my other jobs I quit. And when I quit in the fucking Burger King, I actually had like a fucking photo shoot in the entrance of Burger King. I was like, fucking, I'm out of this shit. I posted on Instagram. Everybody, like all my friends were like, yeah, you got out of that fucking butthole. Yeah. So I was crying. I called my dad immediately. I was like, Dad, I just got fired. And then I literally 5 seconds was like, actually, I don't give a fuck. Why am I even crying about it, And they gave me a really good, how do you say that?
Like the thing that you get when you get fired.
Sí.
Like money. ¿No?
Sí.
In German, Abfindung.
Yeah, en español, verga, se me olvidó también cómo se dice en español. Ya va, me vendrá. Bueno, no me acuerdo. En el punto, that thing that they give you when they fire you.
Yeah.
That was a lot of money. So I was like...
That's good, because then also you can chill like your bum like a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, this is great news. I don't ever have to come here again. I have the experience on my CV. I have a shit ton of money, like that it's gonna last me for at least 2 months. Plus, I get to ask for el paro, which means that it's not like I'm gonna fucking die under a fucking bridge. Like, I'm gonna be able to sustain myself, whatever. So it's like, I'm actually so fine. Actually, after it, I was happy that I was fired. And then I got home and I started like some pages like LinkedIn, Job Today, that info jobs, that type of thing. And like the next day I already had like 3 interviews for the week. So I was like, girl, who's gonna be okay? Like, it's probably super fine. I think I was unemployed for like 3 weeks.
Muy bien.
¿Sabes?
Chama.
It was nothing. What did I do those 3 weeks? Enjoy life to the fullest, guys. I was like going to the gym. No, I was like living life to fullest. I was going to the gym, like with all the peace in the world. Like, I can be here for 3 hours because I don't care. I was like trying to meet people in Bumble BFF. I met like 5 friends from that.
Love that.
I was like tattooing myself. I was like, I have money. Like, in that moment, I think it was before the pandemic, I think. A ver, was it? No, it was after the pandemic. But it's like the tattoos back then, they were really cheap. Like, they were really cheap. Like, the the most expensive, perdón. Okay, the most expensive tattoo that I got was one on my leg that I had wanted for like so long, but I didn't have the money for that, which was 200 euros, which is not expensive.
I fucking love it.
Which is the fish that I have on my leg, you know, and that's
yeah,
like,
I love it.
It's really cool. It's a really cool tattoo. Maybe we can put it in the screen somewhere.
Of course we can.
See, yo. So it's like I was so happy. I was so happy for real. And then I got another job because basically I had already some type of experience working in administration, and this was
and they were looking for someone.
Yeah, it was a very easy job. Plus, they gave me this job because I lived 5 minutes away from the office, which was great for that in that moment. And then the job that I'm right now, they literally contacted me via LinkedIn. I was already working on the other place, and I liked it there, but they offered me better conditions in this new job.
Like, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure.
Love that.
Why not? That's basically it. And this all started because one friend of mine was like, my uncle has this insurance company. Otherwise, I don't know how long it would have taken me to get into the job that I'm in right now. I think I would have had to hustle a little bit more.
And now, I mean, the thing is also, those are like jobs that we're like working in, or like you're working in, me too. Yeah, to sustain ourselves, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're both people that are creating art.
Yeah.
Besides our job. And which is also something that I think the both of us would like to pursue full time.
That's kind of the thing. I think if we had been born here, it maybe would have been easier for us to already start with what we are passionate about. Because I think that was also one of the things that I wanted to say here today. It's like usually when you're on your 20s, you're probably not gonna work on something that you're really passionate about, unless you're like very lucky, which I hope is the case for you. But
or sometimes people, I think you have to have that privilege of being como relaxed to start your own thing, because you have to have like some sort of like a backup in your back, you know what I mean?
Sí.
For example, my best friend, the one that was my manager, she is the most hardworking person that I know. Most hardworking person that I know. She never had support from her family because they couldn't support her.
Yeah.
Like not much. Maybe like the things that you get from like the government and stuff.
Yeah.
This girl, she worked herself up there. She was like,
she's
cool. Like a manager of like a really big like hospitality thing, but she's also doing a lot of stuff in like in the movie area and whatever. And I know she's gonna be so successful one day.
Yeah.
Because she is already. But she never had that security that I had.
Yeah.
My parents can always pull me out of the dirt. My family, I'm very privileged. Like I inherited money as well already and stuff like that. And those are things like that give you this like comfy seed of, or like not seed, maybe you have to hustle still and whatever, but you can start your own thing without being absolutely terrified. You know what I mean? Because right now I'm not working enough to como ahorrar.
Yeah.
Like
to save.
Save loads of money.
Yeah.
But I still have some. So I know that now I can take the time that I have of not working that many hours and put it into things that I really want to do. Like, for example, we're doing like stuff together and working on stuff together. And
like this. This is what you're hearing right now.
Exactly. And that's like great. You know what I mean? But I think some people, sometimes it's just hard if you really want to do it.
I also want to say that it's not very common for people, like for me, I want to be a professional tattoo artist. I would like to live only doing that because it's something that I really, really enjoy, which is something that I have never felt in all my other jobs. Because I think, first, I'm a Pisces, so I'm a mutable sign, which means I can adapt very well to the places I'm in. And I have seen that in every place that I worked. Like the worst place was obviously Burger King. Obviously, and it has like its times, you know. Sometimes it was like really okay, and other times it's like I would rather fucking die than to put a foot there. And the insurance company, because it was just like my boss was like pressuring me all the fucking time, where it's like, man, I just want to do the admin work. I don't want to be calling people and shit like that.
that's fine. Yeah.
But the thing is, you also need to have the experience. Maybe you need to see kind of like how the world works in a
agree.
way.
I agree.
So I don't think there are too many 21-year-olds that can have a successful, like they can just get out of university and start doing the job that they want and have like a lot of money doing that. You know what I mean? I think I've only seen it from like crypto bros and that type of thing, but it's because like their passion is like,
OnlyFans, come
but
on.
it's like, are people passionate about OnlyFans?
No sé.
I think people are passionate about money, but not necessarily the job, which is something that I don't really necessarily subscribe to, because that's one of the other things that I learned after working all these jobs, that, as I said, I'm a Pisces sun, but I'm a Taurus rising, which means it's like I really enjoy my stability. I don't want to overdo myself. I want things to go out smoothly. I want things to come from the heart. It's like I don't like the hustle mentality where you feel like you have to have the worst years of your life because then you're gonna get like a bigger reward. Like that mentality of you need to suffer for you to deserve the good thing that is coming.
Also,
you know?
how do you know?
Claro.
Like, what if I suffer 3 years and then I die?
Por ejemplo.
Then I just like suffered. Like, what the fuck?
And what if like you are suffering and in the process, I think this has happened so many times in history, and you are like, I've been doing this the past 3 fucking years. I don't even like it anymore. Like that happened to me when I was like studying in the uni. I studied a year of biology because that's what I wanted to study because I really like biology. When I was there after a year, it's like,
no,
I don't actually think I see myself working from this for the rest of my life. Like I like it, but not as a profession, you know? You kind of sometimes need to put yourself in the situation to then be like, yeah, I tried it, this is actually not for me, which is totally fine. But I think there's also a lot of people, me included of course, that it's like they're afraid of making mistakes.
I think so. And I think this is also maybe even more a common thing for people that are all-rounders. I think being an all-rounder is like a good thing and it can be a bad thing. Let me explain. One of my other best friends, you're also gonna meet her on Saturday. I love this girl so much. She has so many talents, also like craft things, whatever, but she doesn't have that one thing, you know?
Sí.
And for me, it's writing. I know it. I would want to be like a writer for sure, which is hard to pursue, but it kind of drives me in a way. You know what I mean?
Sí.
Like, and I'm taking things that I'm good at around it, and I'm like putting myself there. Now I'm working as a social media manager and copywriter, which as a copywriter, I'm writing, whatever. But for her, it's like, I can see that it's harder for her. You know what I mean?
Sí.
And I've seen it with people that are good at different things, but they don't have this one thing that they want to pursue. Because sometimes I also think that people are afraid of starting something, stopping it, starting something again, stopping it, being like, oh my God, like of course, sometimes you feel like a failure.
Yeah.
But the world has so much to offer. And if you are an all-rounder, of course, it's hard for you to know already, you know, like you have to try things and whatever. But I can see that that's hard, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I also think there's this mentality of, I'm sure it also existed in the past. I think maybe in the past it was a bit easier to get. There wasn't as many people, or there wasn't like as many, I don't know, stimulus, like stimuli.
Stimulation.
Whatever. Whatever.
Lo que sea.
About like the ambition, and you need to be the best, and you need to have this thirst for greatness. And it's like, I personally, Victoria, don't need to be the president of whatever country that I'm living in. It's okay. I can be like something else that is not necessarily that. And I think sometimes that might be looked down upon, like in the sense of like, you're not trying hard enough. And it's like, I actually do value like one thing for me that I think this only happens to me. Now I'm like I have more peace surrounding it, because I think right now I'm actually like aligning myself to what I really want. But in the past, I would hate when people ask me, like, what do you do for work? Because it's like, work has nothing to do with me. Work is just like a tool that I use to survive and do the things that actually drive me.
It would be nice though if people ask you, what are you passionate about? Or something
Right,
like that.
right, or like what's your hobby or something like that. Like for that to be like the first question. But obviously, like normally people, like if you study law, you probably want to be
Some sort of like a lawyer.
a lawyer. Yeah, you can see avocado.
Avocado.
No, but it's like, and it kind of makes sense, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you need to like you study 10 years like medicine. You
Of course
probably
you're gonna
want
be like a doctor,
that
some
type of
sort
thing.
like a doctor, yeah.
But for me, it's like that tells me nothing about a person.
No,
like
no.
There's so much more than their work, and it's like I hate talking about work, in the sense of with my work friends. Of course, we can talk about things. We can like compare some things, complain, make jokes, and that's totally fine. But like when people just like can bond with other people over work, but maybe that's just me because
Or maybe it's because we are not working yet in the profession that we really want to work in. Because I think, for example, us both being artists, I could see ourselves being happy about talking with other artists.
Yeah, that is true. When I meet other people
art.
who tattoo, it's like
Yeah.
let's actually talk about it.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
feel like I might be biased here. I'm gonna explain this in a minute. But it's like I feel like people talking about tattoos, that's kind of universal. If you like tattoos, of course, you don't need to be a tattoo artist. You know.
I get that.
It's more like, oh, what's your style? How long have you been tattooing? You're not a tattoo artist, and that might interest you. You know.
Of course.
My boyfriend, he does like things with AI. I really don't give a fuck about that. I actually don't support AI like 100%.
Yo tampoco.
Yeah, for things. I mean, we're artists, so of course we cannot like wholeheartedly support it. I do believe,
No, it's like it's la tumba del arte.
of course, when it's used for making like creative things.
Yeah.
And I do like agree with that, but it's also true that for the type of job that my boyfriend has, the AI that he uses is such a tool. Is only a tool, and it's like a very good tool. It's like saying it almost sometimes sounds like when, I don't know, the internet was invented and somebody would shit on Google, you know. It's like it's just a tool that makes your life a lot easier. Why wouldn't you want your life to be easier? It's just that I think for AI, they're like the boundaries are still not clear, and it can like cause damage in way more.
A lot of ways.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes we have lunch with his parents and they just talk about work, and I want to kill myself in those moments because it's like, can we, like, this is so awful. But of course their parents, like his parents, want to know about him and want to know about work, because work is important. Like at the end of the day, that's the way that you sustain yourself. And like I work 8 hours a day in my normal job, and then I work some more on my tattoo stuff, but it's like 8 hours of my day that
Is you what?
It's
5 days a week.
See, that's a lot of time that I'm investing in something, you know. So yeah, and
Which is why striving for what you really want in the long term is good, because obviously you spend so much time with that.
Exactly.
So much time.
And also, it's like, I think it gets way easier and it doesn't weigh as much. It's like, what's the saying? Like, if you choose a job that you love, you will never have to work a day in your life. That's all is bullshit, of course.
No, that's true. I think that's literally true, because the craziest work story that I've ever listened to was my granddad's. That was an author. And he dropped out of high school in 8th grade. So he was so young.
Yeah.
But he, without having anything, he made it to first being like he always wrote. He was like writing poems. He was writing like other stuff and whatever.
Can I ask what sign was your grandfather?
Scorpio.
Okay, the water sign.
Scorpio. And
I'm
I have
happy
to say,
about that.
Yeah, right now. My grandma, who's also a hardworking woman, is actually a Cancer, and they go really well together.
Yeah, water signs, you know.
But the thing is, like, he made it. It took him a lot of years.
Yeah.
But he went from, like, he was working for a newspaper, then he was working for, like, the other segment of the newspaper, then he was getting to be, like, the boss of, like, a publisher.
Yeah.
A really big German publisher, whilst he was also, like, always writing, and then he was, like, a full-time writer at some point. And he wrote until he died.
Yeah.
He was all like, his body was like, he smoked 80 cigarettes.
That's
a
fucking
day,
crazy.
A day for like 20 years or something like that.
That's
so
crazy.
With 60 years or something, his body was
How
like,
old was
goodbye.
he when he
died with 83 years.
That's like for 80 cigarettes a day. That's pretty
crazy,
good.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
And he was so passionate about it. Literally, his last book wasn't finished when he died. He was always writing, always.
That's crazy.
And I think it is kind of true that sometimes if you really love what you do, you don't work a single day. I mean, in the sense of course, you're working. You are, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but I also think it depends because we also live in a capitalist society.
Obvio.
So it's not like the creative processes are not necessarily as acknowledged or nourished. It's like you need to have this done by this date and fuck you if you don't.
That's
you know,
the thing.
That's kind of what I mean, because then it's not like an organic process where it's just like things are like, I think
you really have to establish yourself.
Yeah, you have to have a routine, of course, because it's not easy either way. But what I mean is that there are still days, I mean, still work is work, and there are days where, especially if you're like self-employed or you are the boss of something, you might get sick. Okay, but you still have to work because other people depend on you, or because simply you cannot allow yourself to not do that, you know? So it's kind of tricky, but it's also, I think it's important that people also understand that you're just not one thing. About what you said about all-rounders, because I think that is true, that it's better maybe if you have like that one thing that you actually put like all of your energy about. But I think people are not like two-dimensional. They can have a lot of things. Like I recently saw one of my friends from uni. She graduated from biology, and she just graduated from arts, Bellas Artes. I don't know how you say that, but whatever. Bellas Artes in Italy, you know? And she told me that some people, like, she gets like mixed feelings about when people know that she studied biology. Like, she has a fucking science degree, and it was hard. Like, to get biology was hard. And people tell her, like, you must have been so lost. Or like, you're so lost. What are you doing here? Yeah. But for me, it's like, since I met her, it's like, it's so obvious for me that you are a biologist. Like, she was so good at it and she was so passionate about it. But it's also like, you are also so good at being an artist. Like, you have these both things, which you are very lucky to be so good at both. Let's put it that way. But it's like, even though they're completely
different.
Yeah. They still exist within you, and you can have more than just one passion, you know? So I also think it's nice for people to experiment and be a little bit more open about...
I agree completely. Yeah.
Basically, the conclusion of this episode for me is that work in your 20s is not an easy experience. It's a lot of learning. It's a lot of, ¿cómo se dice? Mistake.
Mistake.
It's a lot of trial and error, and it's okay if you're not good at the first thing that you do, and it's okay if it takes you some time, because
100%.
I also know about people that's like they're 40 and they're starting university, like studying what they have always wanted to study, that type of thing.
I have to say, to the thing about it takes time, because I really need to learn this. I need to learn this right now.
She's an Aries, you guys. She's an Aries, double Sagittarius, so she needs things like this.
My two best people here, Vica and another girl, a Libra and a Pisces. I'm learning a lot, and I think what I really need to learn this year is patience. And good things take time.
Yeah.
And if you really want something, go for it. But it will not come to you in like a day or so. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes patience. It takes maybe your all.
Yeah.
But like, don't give up if it's not there tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I also think there might be people where they feel like, I've seen this maybe especially with men, where they feel like their worth is so connected with their job that if you're doing a shit job... I was so ashamed when I was working at Burger King, for real. Like, I didn't want to say that out loud, which I think, looking back, now that I don't work there, maybe if I still work there, I would feel the same thing. But it's like, looking back, it's just like, that's not the way to see life at all. Like, you don't need to feel like, yeah, your worth is linked just on your work.
No,
you know, you're way bigger than that, and it's hard. Starting something from zero is very hard, but we believe in you.
You got this.
You got this. That can be the name of this episode.
You got this.
Qué bueno, chicos. Bueno,
We love you.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week
Yes.
with una sobremesa, ¿o no?
With a friend of ours.
Sí. It's about time we do a sobremesa.
Eso.
Bueno, adiosito.
Adiós.
Bye bye.